This week we're here with Ryan Tester of RT Photography.
Tell us a little bit about how you got into photography.
Shooting photography in 2014 or so as a hobby. Initially just did it for fun. I sold some artwork and had some success with that. And that led into a friend who was a real estate agent bringing me on for a job, and one thing led to another. And I now do real estate photography full time. I've done that for the past 7 years.
And so today you're going to tell us why professional photography is important for selling a house.
I can think of 5 reasons why you want to use a professional photographer. First, online impressions are important. Good photos equal a faster sale. Quality photos help you to sell your property for more money. Using a professional gives you more marketing options for your property, and using a professional photographer will give you more consistent results with the photos and images that are used to market the property.
Ryan, let's talk about online impressions and photos and marketing these days with selling houses.
All 3 of us are millennials, but I think we can agree with the old adage that a first impression is an important one, and using professional photos is what people are going to see first. Something like 90+% of buyers shop online and use online resources to see which properties they're going to have their agents take them through. So having good photos will bring those buyers in.
Because most of the time if you look at photos, you're like, I don't want to go to that house.
Correct.
But the good photos are bringing people, whereas bad photos, people aren't even coming.
Correct. If the photos aren't accurate to represent the space, if the lighting is bad or the angles are poor, it's just not going to give the buyer the impression that this is a house that maybe they can see themselves in. People are visual creatures. What they see first is what tends to stick in their minds, and photography helps them make an emotional attachment to the property itself. They can see themselves there, they can picture their furniture there, they can picture entertaining guests or raising kids there, and that would help bring them into the property.
When professional photos are done right, not only can the buyers see if it's an appealing house, but they can get an idea of the layout. Is the layout going to work? They can walk from room
Sure.
to room.
When you're using a professional photographer, it gives the buyer the opportunity to view the home and the layout of it in a manner that lets them tour it without being there in person. I know from personal experience with home shopping, I like to be able to know where each click and next photo leads me to in the house. It's important that the rooms connect together and I can say, okay, well, this room is here and then it goes to this one. So I try to make sure that that's something that's always present in my photos.
Well, I currently have a buyer, she doesn't want a sunroom off the kitchen. And if the photos are taken correctly, I can tell that we don't waste our time going to a property because not every house is for every buyer. So we want them in the door, but if there's a feature that doesn't fit, we want to know that too. It makes everybody's life easier.
I would agree.
Photos also help for selling faster and selling for more money. Tell us more about that.
So there's been a few studies done, one by the National Association of Realtors. There's also been some studies done out of Chicago, it's their template if you will, but the long and short of it is that professional photos give the property an opportunity to sell quicker, typically about 32% faster than homes that only have 1 or 2 photos. So the more photos, the better. Professional photos help the property to sell for more money, especially homes that are over the $150,000 to $200,000 price range and up, and there's not really a cap on that. Those homes will sell for anywhere from $3,000 to $11,000 more, and that was pre-inflation prices, so that number's probably significantly more at this point. Professional photos allow for a faster sale, they allow for more money, and more marketing opportunities for the property itself.
So using a professional, using an agent who's going to recommend this is really going to benefit you for a sale.
Yes, using an agent who has people like myself in their contact list to use, whether it's a videographer, a photographer, or a drone pilot, to make these images for successful marketing are going to lead to a better sale of your home in terms of a faster sale and a better price point.
Professional photos are really only as good as the prep that the realtor and the seller put into being ready for you. What are some things sellers can do to get ready for professional photos?
So there are a number of things that sellers can do to get ready to sell their home. Most agents are going to tell their seller to have the home what I consider show ready, as though me as the photographer coming in is actually a buyer, and I am going to be getting my first impression of the home that day. And you want to declutter, get stuff off of your countertops. Let's take a kitchen, for example. If you have a nice backsplash and nice quartz countertops and nice cabinets, you don't want to have your kids' artwork on the cabinets. No matter how important it may be to you, we should probably take those down and put them out of the way for the photos. Same thing with countertops in terms of clutter. Kitchen appliances, sometimes there are innumerable devices and things laid out, charging cords, wires. Some of those things might be appropriate. I never tell anybody to hide their coffee machine or a toaster, and I come across varying degrees of sellers who are ready to shoot, and ultimately I'll work with what I can in the space, but the more ready they are, the smoother the shoot is going to go. Making sure the space is clean. Crumbs will show up on a kitchen shoot on a nice quartz countertop, or dirt on the floor if it's obvious.
Or on a fan.
Or on a fan. Dust on a fan can definitely show up if we're not careful. I actually have a PDF on my website that it's printable and available for agents and sellers to use, and it just goes through kind of room by room from the outside in, stating what can be done that would help to make the property look good. That can range from picking up the hose that you have out with the sprinkler in the front yard and putting that away so that it's not in the front and center of the outside shot, to something inside, like if you have pets, you might want to hide those pet items. Not that we don't love our pets, I have a couple of dogs myself, but that doesn't necessarily need to be the forefront of the photo when you're trying to bring people into your home and generate interest in it. In bedrooms, nightstands can be cleared off, or dressers. Again, charging cables and wires that are unsightly can be put away, and that'll go a long way. So some other good things to point out, and a big one I see nowadays is differences in lighting. Having the same color light bulb throughout the house, or at least in the room, will go a long way towards consistency. Windows, having all the blinds open at the same level if they all work, especially if you're trying to look out the window and show a nice view, or show a backyard or a patio. Or if they don't work, have them all closed so that it's consistent. That'll help both with the lighting for the photographer as well as the mood that it gives for the photo. And lastly, if you have a nice tiled shower or a tiled bath, especially the larger ones, taking your toiletries out of there so that as a photographer I can show off the tile rather than your brand of shampoo will also go a long way.
Well, Ryan, these are great tips for our sellers to know why to use a professional and how to get ready for a photographer when they're ready to list.